Hi guys, it's Dory from Dory Spot and Bit of Everything, back with my second part of hauntings or ghost stories. Okay, so um, my eyes are wet because I had to put drops in them. They were so dry. I was sleeping one night. I woke up, I turned around, I looked. At the end of my bed is somebody standing there with nothing in their hands, but it looked like they had something big. And they lifted it up and went like this. I screamed at the top of my lungs. My son-in-law came to the door and he said, "Are you okay?" And I told him what I saw. And he just, I mean, he's kind of interested, but he'd like to experience something like that himself. So anyway, that was another haunting. And then another time I woke up, my bed was in a different spot. I woke up and I saw someone like run past me. And I sat up and I'm like, oh my God, this is happening again. This is for real. This isn't fake. This shit just keeps happening down here. And I got up and ran to the steps to look to see if somebody was at the door. Now, I didn't hear the door open or anything because I keep my door closed. But I looked up the steps. I stay in the basement. I looked up the steps, nothing. Because if somebody would have ran up the steps, they left the door open because I didn't hear the door shut. And I somehow managed to get back to sleep. So that was another one. And then another time, my bed was in a whole different place. I rearranged the room, and about, has to be at least 10 feet away from me, I had a mini fridge on the table. And I had a couple of my wine glasses, my crystal wine glasses up on top. Now, these things are huge. And I was lying in bed, watching TV, and all of a sudden I hear a crash and glass breaking. I jump up, I look. There is one of my wine glasses, not 2 feet away from me. Broken, shattered, everywhere, right? There's no way that glass fell over. Let's say, I mean, we went through all the scenarios, me and my family, we went through all the scenarios. If the glass would have vibrated off the refrigerator, it would have just fallen straight down and broke. It didn't. If it would have fallen and bounced, I would have heard the glass bouncing because I was awake. I was watching TV. But it didn't. It was just one loud crash, and it shattered anyway. So that glass came flying from that refrigerator over towards my bed, but it stopped short of my bed because I have a table there, and that's where it hit. So it was like it was thrown off. I've been woken up by a lot of things, a lot of noises. I'll wake up, I'll hear something. I'll hear somebody calling my name, or I'll hear some noises. Nothing. Nobody's there. Everybody's asleep. So, I don't know if these things follow me around. I mean, do ghosts follow me or something? Or do I happen to just move into places that are haunted all the time? If that's the case, every place, it has to be haunted. Because it can't be possible that I can just keep moving into places that are haunted. Back when I was in my 20s, that's scary, we're talking like 40 years ago, my mother had passed away. And we came home, we all got together, and I came home, I went to bed, I said my prayers, I looked up, and I see a dark shadow come into my bedroom door, go next to me, around the bed, around the front of me, and out the window. Scared the hell out of me. Don't know what it was. And yet, again, I was able to go back to sleep. The next day, I was at my father's house, where my mom and him lived, and I told my sister-in-law about it. And that she's the only person, the first person I told about this. She said, "Oh my God, your brother said the same thing last night." I said, "What?" She said, he said he saw a shadow going across the living room, right in front of him and out the window. I said, "Oh my God." I honestly believe that was my mother passing through one more time. But how was it that the oldest and the youngest were able to see the shadow, but both the middle children didn't see it? Just the oldest and the youngest. Now, whether they were sleeping or they thought it was something else, I have no idea. But the fact that the look on her face when I told her that, and she said I didn't believe him, and that she did believe it. So my brother and I both saw a shadow that night go past us. That's crazy. Bringing it back up to just recently, 2 weeks ago, my daughter and I went to New York, and we stayed in B&B. And it was a loft, and we were alone. There was no one else there. It was just my daughter and I. And these things happen. We stayed there 3 days, or actually 3 nights. And the first night, I felt like I wasn't alone. I was lying on the couch, because there's a bed, and then they have a couch you can sleep on downstairs. So I'm sleeping on the couch. And I just felt like I wasn't alone. And I kept looking up the steps to see if my daughter was coming down. Or it felt like she was like looking down the steps at me. That's what I kept thinking. But that wasn't it. I looked over, and the bottom drawer on the kitchen, the cabinet had drawers. It was open. And it bothered me, so I got up to shut it. I went back, sat down. I was watching TV and looking at my tablet. And I sat up to do something, and the drawer was open. And I had just shut it. So I chalked it up to that if you push it too hard, it maybe bounces back open. You know how that can happen? So I thought that's what that was. And then the second night it happened again. Both drawers were open. And I went back and I shut them very, very softly. And stood there and waited for them to open. And they never did open again. But I told my daughter about it, and she was like, "Oh, okay." Then we were talking. She was sitting on the couch. I was walking there, and she goes, "Oh my God." I said, "What?" She said, "I just saw a shadow go past me." And she doesn't believe in ghosts. She doesn't believe my stories. She says it's all my imagination. She doesn't believe anything about ghost stories. But she had this look on her face like, "Oh my God." And then she was getting ready to go upstairs. She just did it again. She said, "Oh my God, I saw another shadow." And this was not a busy street. It was a dead-end street. It just dead-ended. We were the second house from the dead end. So there's no cars going past. And she just probably didn't really believe it again. Walked upstairs. I went on the couch, laid down, pulled out my tablet, and I hear a whisper. I couldn't understand what it was. I looked over to the kitchen. There's nobody there. Nobody. So I'm like, okay. And then I hear a noise. And I look over, and that drawer is open again. Seriously. So I started talking to this ghost, and we found out that the whole area we were in had Indian names. We were in Tonawanda, and our street, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was like an Indian name. And I told him that I'm sorry for what happened to you. I didn't have anything to do with it, and I just let it go like that. But we found out later that we were only 20 minutes from an actual Indian reservation. That's kind of scary. So I think all these things that are happening to me are real. And I don't know why they keep happening wherever I am. Tell me in comments why you think these things are happening to me wherever I go. Like and subscribe. Talk to you later. Love yous. Bye.